Thousands of creatives in Los Angeles are paying a business tax they may not actually owe. Today, we break down who really has to register, who qualifies for the creative artist exemption, and how to avoid unnecessary penalties.
Your creative genius deserves the same precision behind the numbers.
Welcome to Let's Get Fiscal, hosted by Anastasia, Myiesha, and Danielle.
Part of the women-led team at Coterie Tax.
From smart tax moves to cash flow strategy, we decode everything it takes to run a thriving creative business
so you can scale with confidence and sleep easy at night.
Press play and let's grow your business.
Hi guys, welcome back. Another episode with Myiesha and Anna. It's going to be a good time.
I know.
We're one energy drink down, so let's see how it hits. What do you want to talk about today?
I would like to talk about City of LA.
All right, so you Los Angeles listeners, this one's going out to you.
I know, you were on kind of my list.
Yep.
One thing that a lot of people aren't aware of is that the City of LA has a tax filing that you are required to file. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how many times people are like, well, I don't do that. And my friends have never done that. And I'm like, well,
it's coming.
You're going to get a letter. So the City of LA, and it's a little bit tricky because, the City of LA will include other cities, so it'll say like Beverly Hills or, Venice. So it's not necessarily like if your address says Los Angeles, it is also the metropolitan area. But there are within that unincorporated areas or like Beverly Hills, some of those areas, some are in City of LA and some are
not all.
City of Beverly Hills that you need to file. So you do really need to be pretty careful. And then also keep in mind that your zip code is where your post office is located.
Oh.
Not where your property is located. So there is a tool on the City of LA's website so that you can confirm that your property actually is within the bounds of the City of LA. So just kind of keep that in mind because, there are some situations where, your post office is City of LA, but where you are is actually unincorporated, because that it could just be literally across the street, that difference. So you want to make sure that you are aware that, and even in every city, there normally are requirements like a business license or you have to have a home occupation license if you are working remotely from home, talking to people on Zoom. There are still things that need to get done. And City of LA is a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
So what they do is if you file on time, most of the time you don't owe anything for a small business. But if you file late, then you owe them the money and penalties and interest and everything. So, for a lot of small business owners, it's not a big deal. It's maybe $50. But again, that's $50 over 3 or 4 years plus interest on a dollar amount that if you had filed on time, you wouldn't owe anyways.
Exactly.
Kind of annoying. City of LA also does say, if you come into the City of LA and you work more than 3 days out of the calendar year, you have to file. So
isn't that crazy though? Like 3 whole days. Yeah. Like it's like they really want you to pay this tax. Like they really do. Like you come up in here and you work, you got to pay us something or you at least have to report. Yeah.
So if you're driving up from San Diego, you go to LA, do some photo shoots, all of this stuff, you leave. If you do that often enough, right, you may need to do that. So it's not only necessarily that you're living there or your place of business is there, but also are you going there to work that may cause a requirement to file within the City of Los Angeles.
So why don't we start at the beginning for like, hey, you're hearing this and you're like, never heard of the City of LA business tax. What do you do kind of thing? So like from the very jump, how do you determining if you've worked in the City of LA for at least 3 days?
And it's not if you're a W-2.
Yep.
So it's freelance or you're selling items, so if you're a W-2 employee, you don't have to worry about this because your employer is paying that.
Yep.
But any other type of company, it's on service-based businesses, it's on, retail businesses,
Yep.
all types of businesses.
There's a whole list.
There
They
is a
encompass a
very
lot.
big, long list. So you can go online, search City of LA business tax, and it will come up with a lot of really fun stuff. And you can also call them for help, but you will probably be number 2000 in line.
Especially January and February. Yeah. So I guess we should start with, this is due the last day of February. You have to file or if you owe anything, pay that tax by February 28th or 29th if it's a leap year.
Yep.
But yeah, to begin with, you have to actually set up an account.
Yeah. So you have to request an account. Normally it'll take a couple of days for that to go through.
Correct.
So there is a little bit of a process because if you file on time, every small business, there's a $100,000 exemption. So if your worldwide income, so income within the city of LA and outside of the city of LA, is under $100,000 and you file on time, you don't have to pay anything.
Yep.
As long as you file on time. If you are a creative, so like an artist, a writer, a director, producer, all of those fun things. They have a whole description of all of the people that are considered a creative. That worldwide exemption is increased to $300,000.
Nice.
I know. Yeah. So that's why I say in a lot of cases, a single creative who's selling services, in most cases, they're going to be below that threshold. So you want to be able to take advantage of that because otherwise it can be, it depends on your classification. So what type of business you are, they'll charge you a different tax rate, but it could be, up to 2% of your top line income. So if you made $250,000 and you file on March 1st, which is late, then you owe 2% of your income to the city of LA, which would be very annoying.
Yep. And you wouldn't have had to have paid it had you done it one day before. Yep.
And one of the things too is we also do, let's say you are rushing to get everything done, but your account isn't set up yet. So we sometimes have that happen because, like I said, it could take a week towards that ending period because they are so slammed with all of the information. We just write an email and we say, here's the business name, here's the business information, here's the gross receipts. And we send them an email. That way we have a confirmation. We told you we made under the exemption amount before we filed. Here's all the information. You received it. We got it on time. We just didn't have an account number. So like the city of LA, even if you don't have an account number or your account is being processed to have an account number, you still need to file. So always try to file before that deadline is going to be the thing. Obviously they have differences for production companies because production companies, they normally receive the full production budget. So you can't pay 2% off of, your production budget that's going out to your cast and crew and all of your props and your location, rental and all of that fun stuff. So they have different things there, but you have to know how much did you spend on production? In order to get that, in order to complete the filing. So that means your bookkeeping
has to be done.
Has to be done because I'm going to ask, how much did you pay for cast and crew? How much, I'm going to ask all of those questions and I need that before February 28th.
Yeah. So it's a really quick turnaround. So making sure you're prepared in advance or at least getting most of the bookkeeping done. So there's only a month or two to catch up and then, we can get an actual real number.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, I think the main caveat that we usually try to get into our client's head is we just got to get it done before this due date. Yeah.
And also keeping in mind that it's tied to the tax ID number.
Yeah.
So if you were a sole proprietor and then you created an LLC, you do need to go close your sole proprietor account and open up a brand new account using the correct tax ID. Because what the city of LA does is they receive information from the IRS and from the state of California, and they're reviewing all of the 1099s. They're reviewing 1099Ks. They're reviewing all of that information because it's all on your tax return. And if they see that there's a zip code in their location, you filed a Schedule C, you have 1099s, they're going to send you that bill. Normally it's a couple years later.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yep. Go through.
Yep. Yeah.
Like
and especially, like if you have, sometimes we have where a 1099 is filed incorrectly under somebody's personal social
instead of the EIN.
Instead of the EIN. So you have that. There's some businesses that are completely exempt, especially in like real estate and things like that. But sometimes you still need to create the account to mark that you are exempt and to like officially say, hey, I fall under this category. Therefore, I'm not required to pay anything. And then they record the exemption and then you're good to go. But a lot of it is, you do need to reach out to the city of LA and make sure that you're filing. And then also, if you are above that income threshold, that you're making sure that you're saving that money as well, because that can be kind of a big thing, especially for, if you don't fall into one of those creative exemptions, you're selling t-shirts or something like that, everything blows up. Well, now you have, like 1 to 2% that you're going to have to pay to the city of LA. And then also making sure that you're identifying the different streams of income.
Yeah.
Because you have, if you are, let's say, like creating a podcast room, you have service income because it's the payment for your labor. But if you're also selling the equipment to set up the room, then that's going to be considered a different category. So you need to separate out the income so that you're getting charged the correct amount on each stream of income. Also, their website is not the most intuitive.
Oh my God.
Sometimes.
It's really not. You get used to it when you do because we do it for clients. So you get used to it when you do it a million times. But if you're doing it once a year, I could see having to relearn that every single year. It's not the greatest. And the descriptions aren't always the most forthcoming. It's like a whole thing.
And, like some of the exemptions, they're based on worldwide income, but the tax itself is based on the income in LA in particular.
Yeah.
So, if you have some sales in LA and then you go somewhere else and then you do it there, you don't, because we have some people that, travel for seasonal positions, across the United States. And so we need to know the separation. How much did you make while you were in LA and how much did you make when you were in this other location or wherever? And we need to know that
so we can specify it
by February 28th because we need the worldwide income to qualify you or disqualify you for the exemption. And then we need your particular income for LA to actually calculate the fees and things like that.
Yeah.
And then just making sure that you're even the correct classification because Yeah. I mean, we have like this little map and they can kind of give it to you where it says, if you choose, accommodations, here's the subcategories that are available to you. But sometimes it's the same with all accounting, like it seems like it should be intuitive, but it's not.
It's not.
No.
And sometimes you're like, oh, I know what this is. It seems like it would fit under this category, but really it's under that category. And just looking at all the different categories and just really we do it to familiarize ourselves so we know when we're setting up an account for someone, we know where it needs to be. So, so it's not, you might want a professional to help with the setup part. We do that. But yeah, it's like complicated, but it's also simple too, I guess, at the same time. Where it's like the numbers that we need to know is relatively like, it's not too much like math that we have to figure out. It's literally what is your gross income and then how much of that was in LA. Right. And then, and making sure we do it by the deadline and making sure your classification is correct. So it gets complicated when any of those things
are not especially with the city of LA, if the website is broken or you're not getting the information that you need fast enough, it doesn't matter. you still need to do this thing. And they send you like a little note card. They will
like
send
postcard size.
Yeah, they'll send you a little postcard as a little reminder. They'll send you a letter in the mail that has a paper form that you can add a check there. So even if you have problems with the payment system, you know, like there are other ways to get a hold of them. And I mean, they are responsive. You know, we tease that, you know, you're 2,000 in line, but they'll normally get back to you, you know, and they're pretty good on, you know, it's at least like with the IRS or California, they'll just say like, oh, we have too many calls. Try again some other time, you know.
I had one of those this week. They're like, we have too many. Try again a different time. Bye. And hangs up. There's no like call back, nothing. Just
so
like, cool.
City of LA, they will keep your place in line. They will call you back. They are working as quickly as possible. But yeah, even if you don't get the response that you need, you still need to make sure that you are filing on time. And they do give you a lot of opportunities to do so. You know, their website has like a huge FAQ.
Yeah, it's
you know,
very helpful.
all kinds of information. They'll walk you through it. You can watch a video of them going through it, all of that fun stuff. So they do try to be as supportive as possible. But, you know, like I said, when you're really super busy, kind of focusing on the business, you know, maybe this is the last thing that you need while you're also trying to get your tax return and all kinds of things all at one moment. You know, but definitely one of those things, because you have the exemption that's available to you if you file on time. That's really the key, is making sure that you are taking advantage of that, because that's what I say. It's like silly money, you know, even if it's only $50, $20, like I'm annoyed if I have to pay $20 that I didn't have to pay.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't even get anything out of it. No candy, nothing. Like a fast food meal, nothing. So no, that's fair. Exactly. So first step, I think, would be, if you have never heard of the city of LA and you live in Los Angeles, check if you, and not a W-2. So if you have any other type of business, sole proprietor, any like things that are separate of you being a W-2 employee,
of any amount.
Yeah, no, because they'll come for the small ones too. We've definitely seen notices like, hey, I know it was only like $20 you got a year, but you still got it. So we needed to know about that. I think it was like royalties or something like that, where it's just like, we might need to make an account if this is going to be a thing. So so if you're going to do that, check the website to see if you are within the bounds of having to do this tax. Right, and then if so, that same website, you can apply for one. You can also always reach out to an accountant or us or whatnot to help you with that setup process. We're pretty familiar at this point. It's a couple years into it. I've done some myself. So you know, we're around. And so figuring out if you do need it, setting yourself up for it, and then making sure that your financials are as close as possible to up to date by probably January. So that way you can have all that information and record it and report it by February. And then knowing that if the website goes down, you still need to send an email or send some other thing before 2/28 or 2/29, letting them know that you are acknowledging it. This is your account number. This is how much you planned on reporting. You can't at this time. Let them know. So that way you have, what is that called? A trail? Like like a little
paper trail that you did the filing.
Because they're a little bit slower to respond January, February, but they will get back to you. And then throughout the rest of the year, they're pretty quick. Well, like if you're like, hey, I got to close this account because I opened up a business separate, they're pretty like, okay, cool. We're showing it closed on our end, blah, blah, blah. So yeah.
And I mean, they're one of the ones too that you'll just suddenly get collection notices. Like a collection agency will just start calling you and you're like, is this even real? And it is.
I've definitely seen those where it's like, is this spam? Like, unfortunately not.
No. So and that's, you know, another reason, you know, I see it sometimes with like out of state tax professionals, because when you're coming to someone, you're asking them to prepare your federal and your state tax return. So it's not really their responsibility to know or remind you or file this for you. You are the business owner. You are the one that's ultimately responsible to know this information and to educate yourself if you don't know. And most of the time when you are going to a tax professional to file your taxes, that's not going to include your city taxes. So, but it is something that can very easily pile up and become a significant amount of money very quickly if you're not aware of it.
Yep. No, that's why when we have new clients come on, we usually do some kind of compliance health check where we go and check where are they at? Where have they been at? Do we find it? Because you can search and see if there's an account that exists for the city of LA. Like, does their business show up there? Have they been filing? Like, it's a lot of that, but that is definitely like separate of doing a tax return service. So yeah, it's definitely like you need to be with someone that knows that and that you're also making sure you're asking for that service as well if you need help with it.
So if you have questions about the city of LA and you would like to know if you are responsible for city of LA taxes, feel free to put a comment below or send us an email, and we are more than happy to talk about your particular situation.
Bye, guys.
That's a wrap on Let's Get Fiscal. Ready to stop guessing and start saving? Click the link in the show notes, grab your consult, and let's make your business work for you, not the other way around. You've got this.